president. Quote, I thought it was really important to share with the American people the man I got to know. I don't think he's treated fairly. He's amazing, she said. I just found him really enjoyable to work for. Michael Cohen's testimony could take up the balance of all next week. Court will only be in session for 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, they have Wednesday off, and then Thursday, Friday, there is no court session because Judge Juan Merchan has given that day off so that the defendant, the former president, can attend the high school graduation of his son, Barron. That graduation will be in Florida on Friday. So get ready for Trump versus Cohen, the main event, right here at the criminal court, starting on Monday. Asher, back to you.
After a dozen hurls to get out of Paris, but finally, we found the way out. Only to arrive to the island between the realm of the living and the dead.
Pause you for a second, John, because we're expecting the president to come out any moment. But first of all, let's look ahead to the main event, as Eric Shaw was putting it, next week when Michael Cohen takes the stand. This is what Jonathan Turley said about his expected testimony earlier today. It's coming down to Michael Cohen and who would base a case.
Hi guys, welcome to King Arthur Legion 9. Just came out today, yesterday, something like that. So it's fresh on the market. From what I've heard so far, I haven't played any of this at all. I just booted it up right now. From what I've heard from the forums and Steam, is that the game is approximately as long as one of the chapters in the original, or not the original, but the game before this, the King Arthur by Neocore as well. So that's a pretty long game. They're having a sale right now on it on both. If you score both, you get a discount. I got a discount in this game because I had the King Arthur previously. So instead of like $25, I paid $20 or whatever, so no big deal. It's not a big sale, but it's a sale enough. And the reason why it's $20 is because it's so short. It's not a super long game. So let's check this out.
Well, Don, let me push back on that because I'm glad you talk about the jury because they're the ones that matter. I know you're a lawyer. Pretend like you're a juror in this moment right now. In the last several days, from what you've heard, forget all the other Stormy Daniels stuff and all the other things that are attacking the former president's character. When they actually are talking about, you know, the checks and the history and all the minutia details. As a juror, can you really believe that the former president knew exactly what he was signing? He was signing tons, hundreds and hundreds of checks. Do you really walk away feeling like this man is responsible?
Yeah, Aisha, I've always wanted to be a juror, but the judges always knock me off before I make it on. But if I try, it's true. But if I put myself in the position of a juror, what I want to see is I want to see evidence, one, that President Trump intentionally committed fraud when he listed these checks under one account versus another account. That's one thing the prosecution has yet to prove, but that's key. And then the second thing I want to see is what other law was violated, because Braddock was promised to say that he's allowed to enforce.
Okay, that looks about good. All right, let's do this.
Was to affect the 2016 election. I haven't seen that yet either. So as a juror, you're right, Bishop.
Hopefully I'm normal. I'm a normal kind of guy.
What was his state of mind? I think that's really hard to prove here.
For the most part.
Not to protect his family, not to protect his reputation, but to actually try to influence the 2016 election in a state which he lost. Yeah. We should point out that the jury has been dismissed for the week. The president, former president, and his legal team and the prosecution are still in the courtroom. Apparently, they're discussing a motion in regard to a gag order, the gag order or another gag order, and something about Michael Cohen as well. He is supposed to be coming out momentarily. Before I ask you another question, John, let's just watch here, because I'm told that he is on his way out. Nothing yet. Maybe it takes a little while for them to get their notes and everything. We should point out
Well, John, you say that you always wanted to be on a jury, but you've been knocked out because you're an attorney. There are two attorneys who are sitting on this jury. And the question that some people have is, will these attorneys try to prejudice the jury, or will these attorneys try to keep the jury in line? In terms of how to weigh the evidence, what can be considered, whether or not testimony that was struck from the record should be erased, expunged from their minds, which is a difficult thing to do. Many people have said this week that once you hear or see something, you can neither unhear it nor unsee it. The president's legal team is Boris Epshteyn, just coming out of the court. He's not necessarily a member of the president's legal team, but he's certainly counsel of the president. That looks like the president's head in the window of the door as we're awaiting for him. Just strictly what you momentarily. Speak to this idea, there being two attorneys on the jury, and whether they might help steer the jury toward the absolute parameters of the judge's instructions, or maybe in a different direction.
Hopefully they'll remember what they learned in first year law school, which is the government needs to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. That doesn't mean 51%, because that means likely that the government is right. Put aside the law, put aside the facts. That's the most important thing for the jury. Think the government not just persuade you, but are you utterly convinced that Donald Trump committed fraud, that he committed fraud in order to influence the elections, that this was not about protecting his reputation, that this was about committing some kind of violation of federal elections?
And John, as we prepare for jury counsel, listen in. This is the former president wrapping up the week.
Whatever protects this land from invaders, it is very powerful. We will use that power to fulfill our emperor's wish.
They can say whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. I'm not allowed to say anything about anybody. It's a disgrace. And you see the media. And it's really understand. People anywhere express it's something that's you could have to say years ago.
The answer is no.
Nobody sees it, nobody talks about it. This should have been 7 years ago. It should have been brought. But if it was going to be brought, it should have been brought 7 years ago. And, you know, we're talking about 2016. We're talking about something that was back in 2006.
Did you see it?
We're talking about 2016. We're
Let's follow that. The problem leads to a settlement.
It's all fake. The whole case is fake. The judge is corrupt. And the only thing he gives us is to make him look a little bit, but he gives us nothing. And what he just did now is a joke. It's a disgrace.
But you
It's a disgrace. So I just want to mention,
why aren't you
right
working,
here,
Sheriff?
the
master's coming out with a bomb in place.
9%, where it was, the tiny fraction was 1.4%. And actually going down. We had essentially almost no inflation. We had 9% inflation, and that's a fake number because not everything was included with Biden. And you add it all up, I think it's a 50% inflation tax.
Return to your pit.
So he lies, and he lies about everything.
In the name of the old gods,
You
I
can't have all.
command you again.
You can't have all goods. Lies about everything, but he came out and
I don't know what kind of spirits you are,
last couple
but
of
I
days he
warn
was
you,
looking about
this land is
inflation.
under the
No,
protection of the old gods. Leave now.
it's a tax on the American people due to gross incompetence, and it was all started because of his energy policies, his stupid
We are
renewable
not
energy
running.
policies.
The old gods will protect us.
If we don't win this nation is finished. You wait and see what would happen. Because all of that stuff would be closed up. You had a lot of my energy policies go through because energy was starting out of his, what they were doing, starting to go up so high. So you had a lot of them continue, including the drilling, because the prices were going so high for gasoline and energy. And now he comes out and he actually says, I guess with a straight face, but I'm not sure he knows what he's saying anyway. There was 9% in the Trump. So at least the New York Post, and I hear the Wall Street Journal, and a couple of others did correct it. It was 1.4 was actually lower than that. We included everything. They didn't include everything. They took some of the worst categories and didn't include it in the 9%. So it's 9% is actually much higher than that. But it's a tax over a 4-year period of more than 50%. And I call it the inflation tax, the Biden inflation tax. Now here's another one that's came out this year. No friend of mine, they say that Biden's big donors fuel additional criticism. Biden's donors are the ones that are against Israel. So somehow, maybe those people, Jewish people, that vote for Democrats or vote for Biden, if they look at what they're doing, the donors to Biden are against Israel. Very much immediately against Israel. They hate Israel. And that's why Biden hates Israel, because he goes with the stars. And he always has, so they ought to start thinking about that. And now you have the lawfare conclusions in the Wall Street Journal. Kim Strassen, who's a great reporter, they would read the story, which talks about what's going on here. What's going on here is a disgrace. Jonathan Turley just came out. This case is becoming legally obscene. It's, the articles
This is not the time. But I have an educated guess who are these barbarians.
because if anything is mentioned against certain people, and you know who they are, certain people, anything's even mentioned, he wants to put me in jail.
Sulla
And
and I
that could
fought
happen
that
one day,
ago.
and I'd be very
But now
proud
these painted
to go to
devils
jail for
swear.
our Constitution, because what he's doing is so unconstitutional. There's never been anything like it. This is story after story, right here. There's
Well, we're
one after
definitely
another.
not in
And
Britannia.
this over the last 2
This land
days.
is magical. I can
Story
feel
after
it.
story,
It's not the underworld, but
Hannity,
it's still connected
big
to the
story.
afterlife.
They're all big. Dershowitz, Jonathan
Centuries after your
Turley,
death, it was a Roman
Andrew
province in the
McCarthy,
north of Britannia. There, I met
Rick
Sulla
Jarrett,
before he
open
persuaded us to
amazing.
recruit a legion into
They're not
Paris.
friends, nobody's friends. They're writing shoes. They've never seen
The best
anything like
soldiers
that.
never served Rome.
They've never seen anything like what's going on
Legionnaires
today
who
in
were once
this
ready to
court.
die for Rome.
It is a very
Like
dark
you,
day
Gaius
for
Teresius.
New York City, New York State, and it's a very dark day for our nation. And in the meantime, we can't be out
He was taken by
campaigning.
a glorious
Because
kinsman,
I told you
Julius
7
Caesar,
years ago, they could
Rome's
have
greatest
put it
general.
Remember, everybody turned it down. Southern District turned it down.
Emperor
Washington
Sulla has a
turned it
huge
down.
respect for him.
The
It is
Federal
now the
Election
chief
Commission
of
turned it
Greece.
down.
Your blood
And you know
is
what else
now
turned it down?
one of the
Siberians
best
turned it
dynasties of
down.
Rome.
Everybody turned it down. And then Greg came in and he turned it down. And he got very angry actually because his then Pomerantz came out. And what's happening with Pomerantz is the paper's looking into that deal. But he got himself into a jam. And so what happened is Greg turned it down.
They seem to be terrified.
And then when the
of
election
the
comes along, he said, well, let's go with some cases and turn to remember this. It's a federal case. They all turned it down. And he's bringing it into the state or the city, yes. Look, he's a district attorney where crime is rampant, violent crime is all over the place, the city's going to hell. And they have many prosecutors in that. I couldn't even count them. It looked to me like that. Certainly they have had more than 20 prosecutors sitting there over the fact that somebody paid a lawyer and then paid a lawyer. So it was a legal expense. That somebody happened to be me. I didn't do the bookkeeping. I didn't even know about it, but a very good
Not
bookkeeper
everyone. Look,
marked a legal expense down as a legal expense. They didn't call it construction. They didn't call it
Sorry,
building
these
something
news.
or concrete or electrical costs. They called very simply
I'm
a
afraid
legal
that I
expense
have
to
no
a lawyer.
choice. The master's
It's a
something to
lawyer.
talk to.
Not a fixer, it's a lawyer.
We all
Legal
are those
expense
friends
to a
here.
lawyer, they
They
call
make
it
us
legal
collect something
expense.
from the burning
They said
pit.
it was marked incorrectly.
Yes,
What
I
else
know.
can you call it?
My mother was.
It's a legal
My name
fee
is
or a legal
Flora.
expense, and we
There
call
are a
it
few
a
former
legal
citizens
expense.
of Nova
This is
Roma
what the
around
case
here.
is about. And it's not about all of the other stuff
once a Roman city. Now it's just home to the Romans.
Because it's so old.
It is down in the valley, an hour's walk from here. But the road leads through the main camp of our monsters. Whatever kind of monsters they are, but even you won't have easy.
Ridiculous that I'm not going to be out campaigning for another week or two as these thugs, these corrupt thugs, and that includes the judge. He should throw this case out.
I think this is what happened. And they can slaughter our people. Only the survivors and slaves. We had no chance against them. Perhaps we
Came
can
out and
say
they
this.
said this case should not go forward. It's not a case. There's no crime. There is no crime. And they failed to show a crime. This is election day. It all comes out of Washington. They have their reps here. They don't have their reps here. I'm sure you know that. But this all comes out of Washington. It's to damage crooked Joe Biden's political opponent happens to be me. Will he be the polls and the American people get it? It's a scam. So tomorrow we're doing a big rally, and it's going to be Wildwood, New Jersey. We're going from the state of New Jersey. We think we can win New Jersey, and we think we can win a lot because what's happening in our country is horrible. Between inflation and the horrible economy, and the only reason, by the way, the stock market goes up is I'm leading an old home. If I weren't leading, the stock market would be way down. But I'm leading, and based on the fact that I'm leading, the stock market is up. And if I didn't win, you would have a crash like 1929. Mark my words, that's right about everything. If I didn't win, you would have a crash like the crash of 1929. Because the people that are running our government right now,
Just look the other way.
all right, the president's not going to wait for the week. We will see him again tomorrow in Wildwood, New Jersey. So it's expected to be a massive rally. The biggest rally of his 2020 campaign was in Wildwood, New Jersey. His campaign, I'm going to show that as a stark contrast to what's been going on in court this week. What the president was talking about, I should right back at the very beginning, was that after the jury was dismissed, there was a discussion because the defense had introduced a motion to gag Michael Cohen. Judge Mershon refused to agree to the motion, but did tell the prosecution to keep Michael Cohen quiet. So we'll see if it does.
And the Trump campaign just released a statement about that, saying that this is a big win in there for President Trump's legal team. The judge has directed Cohen to be quiet. I don't know, John, I'm bringing you back in here. I don't know how big of a win this is. I know that the former president isn't allowed to talk about Michael Cohen or the judge. Let's talk about both of them. The judge, after 15 days, told prosecutors they can tell Michael Cohen to be quiet. All while the president is under the threat of jail time for potentially violating a gag order. What do you know about this judge? Because the former president is saying this is all a big joke. What do you know about this man?
I don't know much about his personal background, but just watching his performance during this trial, he's way in over his head. This gag order is a great example. He is violating President Trump's First Amendment rights. Yes, you can restrict what criminal defendants say, but there's never been a criminal defendant who's also the leading candidate for the presidency. That is the core of this free speech clause, is to allow us to debate and talk about who we're going to elect. And then the judge compounds this terrible mistake by, rather than lifting the gag order and letting Donald Trump speak, he says, I'll let Michael Cohen speak, attack him. Well, wait, maybe I'll just ban Michael Cohen's free speech rights too, right before the trial. So now he's violating two people's First Amendment rights. That's a terrible showing of how this judge does not understand constitutional rights.
And what's interesting too is the timing in all of this. I mean, now telling Michael Cohen now to zip it after he's had the last couple of months to talk about this, it is very reminiscent of the judge saying the other day, well, you know, the jury probably shouldn't have heard a lot of what Stormy Daniels had to say. It's like, he looks at this in hindsight and goes, yeah, well, maybe that shouldn't have happened. As a judge, aren't you supposed to kind of have foresight to say, wait a minute, This is how this could affect this case. Not just the jury against the client, against the defendant. The defendant has a lot of rights as well. They have to be sure we preserve those. So I'm going to issue these orders ahead of time, as opposed to not even playing cleanup afterwards, but just acknowledging that it's a mistake.
You know, John, you're right. I hadn't even thought about that, but that is just like the MO from what he did with Stormy Daniels. He should never have let Stormy Daniels testify. He allowed him to testify, blamed Trump's lawyers for not objecting every 5 seconds after he had already overruled all their objections. Yes, and then at the end saying, well, maybe I should have done something about it. Because he knows now that he is skirting on the line towards a mistrial. He's got to realize that after letting in Stormy Daniels, after putting this gag order in, he's creating a lot of opportunities for the appeals court to reverse him. Now he's trying to play cautious because he doesn't want to be overruled. He doesn't want a mistrial. But he's really mismanaged this trial, and I could easily see an appeals court, unfortunately, long after the election, saying this has to all be thrown out.
Okay.
The judge really screwed up the trial.
Well, speaking of Stormy Daniels, if we can pull up her Twitter post, her ex post, as we await the former president to leave the courthouse, she really takes a hit at the president. She says, real men respond to testimony by being sworn in and taking the stand in court. Oh, wait. Never mind. So the former president, John, actually said down in Mar-a-Lago about 3 weeks ago that he wants to testify. In fact, it was a very stunning moment. I was standing right there a few feet away from him when he said it, and my jaw nearly dropped. Do you think that he should? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think his lawyers will let him?
Aisha, I have the same reaction you do. My jaw's dropping now. There is no way Donald Trump should testify. But what you could also see of this week's events, the way Stormy Daniels testified, the kind of questions the prosecutor asked her, and now just this last tweet of hers, they're trying to goad President Trump into testifying. He has a constitutional right not to. He's a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. He doesn't have to testify, but I think they're trying to force him.
Wrong guy.
They try to get him to commit perjury and then send him to jail for that. So I thought what we just saw now.
Thought it was this guy.
I'm glad to see the former president's aware of that. You notice he did not violate the gag order. Instead, I think the right thing to do is turn the platform around and attack Biden. Attack the job he's doing. Use this as a campaign platform to make his case to be reelected. Don't get sucked into fighting with Stormy Daniels under oath in this kind of sordid trial.
Yeah, and it's because it came out of the courtroom. The president is using it as a campaign forum because, I mean, where do you get so much free time? All three cable networks are covering it. Everybody else is covering it as well. Hey, John, great to spend time with you. And I must say that if I thought of something that you didn't, it is absolute proof of the old adage that even a blind squirrel finds an apple.
Happens all the time, John. I know that you know it.
Thanks, John. Good to see you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, think of all of the eyeballs that are on Trump when he comes out of the courtroom, and compare that to the number of people who would be watching him in the campaign.
Well, whoever's advising him, John, should get a pay raise because I just started noticing that, right, about a week ago or about more than a week ago that he started to come out and really hit the day of issues, right, the day of topics. What's happening in the world, of course, the Israel ammunitions, all of that with the former president. That's very, very smart. Take advantage of all of the eyeballs that you have because you're cutting into your own, I mean, this court case, cutting into so much crucial campaign time right now.
Yeah, and here's what's really curious is that Dana Perino, of course, is one of the smartest political people that I know, former press secretary for President Bush 43, said about 3 weeks ago, I think on the 5, she was saying, well, if I was the Trump campaign, I would be using every opportunity I had in front of the cameras to campaign. I would be going out and doing local events around New York, even though he's tied to the city, so he can't go to Pennsylvania, but you can do things around New York. All of a sudden, it happened.
Somebody was listening over there.
I think so. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Nice going, though. Nothing like a little confidence boost to help ease you back into the dating scene. That includes having a smile you feel good about. Fortunately, Aspen Dental specializes in dentures and implants just for you. And with flexible financing, you don't need to sacrifice quality work for a price that fits your budget. It's $0 down, with 0% interest, paid in full in 18 months. Helping our patients put their best smile forward. It's one more way Aspen Dental is in your corner. It's time. Yes, the time has come for a fresh approach to dog food. Every day, more dog people are deciding it's time to quit the kibble and feed their dogs fresh food from the farmer's dog. Made by vets and delivered right to your door, precisely portioned for your dog's needs. It's an idea whose time has come.
Hey, I'm Brian Gary, and today we're talking about the biggest misconception there is about replacement windows. I'm here with Ted Coons, the project manager for Renewal by Anderson, to talk about it.
Yeah, one of the big things we hear from homeowners is, I shouldn't need to replace my windows, they're just not that old. But here's the thing, home builders put in high-end kitchens, bathrooms, and low-end windows just aren't that good. So even if your windows are only 7 to 10 years old, they may still need to be replaced.
Ted, there's so many window companies out there. What's different about your company?
Well, besides being a full-service replacement window division and we're the company people tend to call when they're particular about their home. They don't want just any old window, any old install.
So your standards for installers are pretty high, right?
Yeah, Brian, you can have the best window or door in the world, but if it's not installed correctly, it's going to fail. So we don't hire these jack-of-all-trades installers who better decide on the side. Our window installation teams do our windows year in, year out, and have done thousands of them.
Anytime a homeowner has to deal with multiple home improvement companies, they get stuck in the blame game.
Yeah, with other companies, there's an issue. The manufacturer blames the installer blames the manufacturer. With us, there's no finger pointing or blaming each other. We're both the installer and the manufacturer.
Is it easy for a homeowner to get a price?
Very easy. We'll come out to your house, we'll set your current patio door windows, and then we'll give you an exact price that's good for an entire year.
So that's great information. Thank you.
Before May 31st, buy one window, patio door, or entry door, and get the next one 40% off. That's 40% off with a minimum purchase of 4. Plus, save an extra $200 on your entire purchase. With no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 1 year. This offer ends May 31st. For a free appointment with Renewal by Anderson, call 1-800-704-4200.
Please, forgive me. After all this time, I'm free again. Thank you. I pray to the gods for you. Who are you? I want to thank you again for setting me free.
Otezla is the #1 prescribed pill to treat plaque psoriasis. Otezla can help you get clear skin and reduce itching and flaking with no routine blood test required.
Please allow me to repair
Doctors
you.
have been prescribing
I
Otezla
know
for
that
over a
Bulgarians have
decade.
blood pressure.
Otezla is also approved to treat psoriatic arthritis. Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can happen. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting.
Here is the
People
treasure.
taking Otezla
I
have
may
depression,
even know about
suicide
its
thoughts,
presence for free.
upper respiratory tract infection, and headache may occur.
With clear skin, Girls' Day Out is a good day out. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla.
So, first up for the week, we just heard from the president at length a few minutes ago. There may be one more witness, and then the marquee witness in this case, Michael Cohen, expected to be coming up on Monday. What will be an abbreviated court week? It'll only be in session Monday and Tuesday because there's Wednesdays off.
If the map was better, I'd search it. It's not that great.
For his son, for graduation. Carmen York is the chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner and Fox News attorney. He joins us now. So talk first of all, if you could, about the defense motion to gag Michael Cohen, who's been out there talking, even though the judge previously told him to keep him quiet. The judge would not grant the motion, but did tell the prosecution to keep their witness quiet.
I'm surprised the defense hasn't tried this earlier. I mean, Michael Cohen has been in the Trump bashing business for several years. And the defense has tried to downplay the fact that their star witness seems to absolutely hate Trump, his former employer. Michael Cohen wrote a memoir, and the title of it is Revenge. Yeah. And that's kind of the way he is with Donald Trump. And we know early in the trial He was saying all sorts of things on Twitter. He was being invited on MSNBC to talk, and he kind of stopped that. But even after being warned to be quiet, he just did a TikTok in which he's got a T-shirt on which shows Donald Trump behind bars. So you just can't shut the guy up.
Yeah. I think we have a video. You can pop it up. I mean, it's incredible. I want to just be real for a moment here. Most Americans, Byron, wouldn't you agree, are not watching this as feverish as we are. But what they know is that there is a New York City DA progressive who is going after the presumptive GOP presidential nominee in court, and the two star witnesses are a porn star and a convicted liar. So hasn't the former president already won this, at least in the court of public opinion? Because when you just look at that, I mean, what in the world is happening?
Well, when you're facing a maximum of 136 years in prison, you don't want to just win in the court of public opinion. You don't want to go to jail. And I think what is interesting here is, we talked a year ago.
There's Trump, by the way, walking out of the courthouse.
There you go.
Keep going.
We talked a year ago about whether multiple indictments would hurt Trump's political prospects. Well, they did. They actually helped him in the Republican race. Then we've talked about, well, what about when he's really on trial? He's in a courtroom. What's that going to do? We're finishing up week 4 now, and we haven't seen any effect in the polls. None. But the big question is, okay, if he's convicted, what happens then? And we do know that there are a number of polls that show people who might...
Okay, let's save this right now.
For Trump.
Excellent.
Say that, well, if he were
Create a new save.
I would have to rethink that and maybe not vote for Trump. So the question is that really
That was only 4%.
well, it could be enough. Yeah, it could be. But you're right.
Cool.
It's not a huge part of the electorate, but
All right.
Like 50%.
Stay tuned, guys. We'll see you next time. All right, peace out.
Because so many people believe that he's been unfairly targeted. And as far as his